El Presidente Porfirio Díaz could not believe what he was hearing. Francisco Madero, slim, short, and with a high-pitched voice, was becoming a serious challenger. Madero came from a large, wealthy, and connected family from northern Mexico, El Norte, and had many ties to Texas. Relatives included leaders of the 1840s Republic of the Rio Grande episode in Laredo, Coahuila, and Nuevo Leon, while another had made a fortune transporting Confederate cotton through Mexico during the American Civil War. The family had also prospered during the Porfiriato and had accumulated huge land holdings, as well as mines, rubber plantations, and cotton farms. Born on a hacienda in Coahuila, Madero was also well educated and had studied in Mexico, Paris, Maryland, and the University of California, Berkeley. Brilliant, and with his own fortune made through astute business practices, he was also a mystic and dabbled in spiritualism. Using a Ouija board, he believed that Benito Juarez spoke to him from beyond the grave. The message he claimed to receive was that Diaz had to go, and that Madero would replace him. Many living Mexicans agreed with that prophecy. Influenced by Madero's writings and his political activity, many of his countrymen thought of him as the best chance for Mexico to return to democracy. Soon, a political movement, El Anti-Reeleccionistas, spread across Mexico. El Presidente retaliated against the Madero family businesses across the country. In April 1910, Madero formally announced his candidacy for president. Diaz met with him to discuss a possible compromise and to convince Madero to withdraw, but the conversation only revealed how old and out of touch the 80-year-old Diaz had become. Instead of quitting, Madero campaigned across Mexico and drew attention to the outsized influence of American capital and influence in Mexico's mining, railroads, oil, and land. He referred to it as a peaceful invasion by the U.S. Concerned that Madero's agitation would scare off investment and threaten his rule, he had Madero arrested and thrown into prison at San Luis Potosí. Then, on June 21, 1910, President Diaz rigged the election. Not surprisingly, he claimed he won more than 95% of the votes. With the issue settled, prison officials lessened Madero's punishment and allowed him to serve his time under house arrest around San Luis Potosí. On October 4th, Madero mounted a horse and simply rode away from town. Within a week, he was safe in San Antonio. There, he announced his Plan de San Luis Potosí. Madero outlined the problems with the Diaz regime and called for an armed revolution to restore democracy to Mexico. The Madero family began using their money and influence both in Mexico and the United States to get the revolution started and to get their kinsman installed as the rightful president. On November 20th, Madero planned to capture the town of Ciudad Porfirio Díaz, now the town of Piedras Negras, across the Rio Grande from Eagle Pass. On the day he planned to launch his rebellion, only 10 revolutionaries showed up. Madero returned to Texas, embarrassed, and continued on to New Orleans to rethink his approach. Yet, other Mexicans had taken notice. Radical revolutionaries Ricardo and Enrique Magon led an uprising from California that took control of Mexicali and Tijuana. Abraham Gonzalez, another wealthy and important politician in northern Mexico, recruited 23-year-old Pascual Orozco of Chihuahua to the Madero cause. Bandit chieftain Doroteo Arango, also known as Pancho Villa, also declared his support for Madero. In February, Orozco and Villa started attacking government troops in Chihuahua. The Mexican Revolution had begun.